Hey there! Quick question. If you gave a squirrel a credit card, how long do you think it would take before it maxes it out on acorns and inflatable bounce castles? A day? An hour? 10 minutes? Exactly. Zero financial instincts. And yet, that squirrel might be doing better than your cousin Jared, who just bought a $600 blender because it vibrates at the frequency of abundance. We're about to talk about the #1 way normal, everyday people end up broke. And spoiler, it's not drugs, it's not gambling, and it's definitely not investing in alpaca NFTs. Though, let's be honest, that's not helping either. Nope. It's something way sneakier, something that feels normal, something that even looks a little responsible. Meet Diane. Diane's a nurse, works night shifts, drinks 3 cups of black coffee before 9 a.m., owns a label maker, and once cried in a Walmart parking lot because they ran out of lemon-scented Clorox. She's not reckless. She clips coupons. She makes pasta in bulk. And yet, Diane is broke, not flashy broke, not I bought a Ferrari and crashed it into a pool broke. More like, I can't figure out how my account is always at $12.87 on the 25th of every month broke. So what's happening? Diane fell into what I call the lifestyle pothole. Not a lifestyle inflation, because that sounds too economic. A pothole, because it's sneaky. You don't see it coming. And before you know it, boom, your financial axle is wrecked. Here's how it works. At 22, Diane made $32,000 a year. She had 2 roommates, a used car, and a mattress that remembered everyone she'd ever dated. She budgeted like a monk, ate ramen, wrote "do not touch" on her almond milk. Then, good news, she got a raise. Now she's making $45,000, which is awesome. Except now, she's also got a new car payment, and nicer clothes, and a new apartment just for her, and Wi-Fi speeds that can stream all 3 Lord of the Rings movies in 4K while heating up soup via Bluetooth. Each little upgrade, it feels deserved. She worked for it. She's not being reckless, just treating herself. Because she's not broke anymore, right? Here's the thing. When income goes up, we all think we're finally escaping the struggle. But most people don't escape it. They just scale it. Instead of surviving on $32,000 and saving the extra $13,000, Diane now spends $44,800 and saves nothing. Still paycheck to paycheck. Still stressed, just in cuter shoes. And this is how the trap works. Most people don't suddenly splurge on yachts or private jets. They slowly upgrade everything. The car, the phone, the lunch budget, the jeans, now with artisan rips instead of accidental ones. And it doesn't feel like recklessness. It feels like progress. We tell ourselves, this is what adults do. But behind the scenes, we're quietly inflating our lifestyle like a sad little economic balloon animal. Now let's talk about Jamal. Jamal works in IT. Cool guy. Big fan of wireless everything. Headphones, chargers, hopes, dreams. He starts making $60,000. Then $75,000. Then $95,000. And he tells himself, you know what? I deserve a better place. So he moves to a high-rise apartment where the lobby smells like lemongrass and disappointment. His rent triples. He gets valet parking. Buys a leather couch that looks like it judges him for eating takeout. He upgrades his life to match his income. But he forgets something. He also upgraded his fixed expenses. Now, even a minor emergency, a layoff, a hospital bill, a transmission going full exorcist can wreck everything. Why? Because there's no breathing room. Jamal isn't living paycheck to paycheck because he's irresponsible. He's living that way because his lifestyle has expanded to fill his entire income, like water in a cup, or tea in a gossip session. This is how normal, smart people go broke. Not because they don't earn enough, but because they keep adjusting their spending to match whatever they earn. They make more money, but they don't keep more money. And you know what makes this even worse? Everyone around them is doing the same thing. So it feels normal. You get a raise and suddenly your friends are like, let's do brunch at that new place with a $27 avocado toast served on a roof tile. And you think, yeah, why not? I can afford it. But can is a trap. Can afford doesn't mean should spend. It just means your bank account won't explode today. But it might quietly die from exhaustion next Tuesday. Let's rewind this with a goofy analogy. Imagine your income is a balloon, and every time you increase your spending, you're adding air. More expenses equals more pressure. At first, it's fine. It floats. It's even kind of pretty. But keep filling it, and eventually pop. And unlike an actual balloon, you can't just pick up the pieces and start over. That's what happened to Diane and Jamal, and about 64% of people who make six figures and still live like they're one parking ticket away from financial ruin. And the worst part? Most of them have no idea it's happening. Because the upgrades don't feel like luxury. They feel like adulthood, like maturity, like arriving. But really, it's just a shinier version of the same trap. It's the same treadmill, now with scented candles and a monthly massage subscription. You run harder, you sweat more, but you don't actually move forward. And the banks? Oh, they love this game, because the moment you get a better paycheck, what shows up in your mailbox? Credit card offers. Congrats on your success, they say, like a snake congratulating a mouse for graduating from mouse school. Now you've got a higher credit limit, which means you can finance a couch, or a vacation, or a Peloton you'll use twice before it becomes a laundry rack. Because they know something you don't. It's not how much you earn. It's how much you keep. Now let's talk about the real danger. It's not just being broke when you're young and figuring things out. It's being broke at 50 and not knowing how the heck it happened. Because eventually, the income stops growing. Maybe you hit a ceiling. Maybe your job disappears. Maybe life just punches you in the face with a surprise dental bill and a leaky roof in the same month. And if you've been scaling your lifestyle for years, you don't just have to stop spending more, you have to shrink it. Which is way harder, telling yourself, I can't afford that anymore, after you've gotten used to it. That's like trying to put toothpaste back in the tube, at midnight, with oven mitts on. Let me introduce you to a rare species, Frugal Freddy. Freddy is a school teacher, makes a modest salary, drives the same Honda Civic since Obama was in office, and owns 2 pairs of jeans. Just 2. But they fit great, and he washes them inside out like a denim wizard. Every time Freddy gets a raise, he doesn't upgrade. He doesn't announce, time to lease a Tesla and join a wine club. He just keeps living the same way. And slowly, quietly, he builds a safety net the size of a small trampoline. 10 years later, Freddy's not stressed. He's not rich. But he's chill. He's got savings, investments, and the mental peace of a monk with a Roth IRA. Meanwhile, Diane and Jamal are still on that treadmill, wondering why they're working more but feeling more trapped. Here's a weird truth no one talks about. Being broke isn't always about being poor. Sometimes it's just a math problem wrapped in emotional spending. We buy stuff to feel better. We upgrade because we feel behind. We spend because everyone else is doing it. And it's hard to say no when the entire world is screaming, "Yes, you deserve this," in sparkly Instagram fonts. But money doesn't care about vibes. Money cares about math. So if you're not intentional, your bank account turns into an emotional playground with swings, slides, and a pit full of overdraft fees. Want to know something wild? Studies show that after a certain point, around $75,000 a year, more income doesn't make people significantly happier. You know what does? Less stress, less debt, less "oh no" when your phone buzzes with a bank notification. That peace? It doesn't come from making millions. It comes from creating space between what you earn and what you spend. That gap? That's where freedom lives. The ability to take a break, to handle an emergency, to tell your toxic job, "Nah, I'm good." But if you spend every raise, every bonus, every tax return, that space disappears. And suddenly, you're working for your lifestyle instead of living with it. One last thing. A lot of people hear stuff like this and feel embarrassed. Like, dang, I am Diane. Or worse, I'm Jared and his frequency blender. And I get it. It's easy to feel like you messed up. But this isn't about guilt. This is about awareness. Most of us were never taught this stuff. We were just told, go to school, get a job, and treat yourself. You earned it. But here's the real lesson. You can treat yourself, just not every time your paycheck goes up. If you want to get ahead financially, the move is actually kind of boring. Keep your lifestyle slightly behind your income. Not forever, not miserably. Just enough to build that space, enough to breathe, enough to grow. So, in conclusion, the number one way normal people go broke isn't sudden disaster, it's silent inflation. It's the slow, sneaky habit of spending more every time we make more. It doesn't feel reckless, it feels deserved. It feels normal. But normal is what keeps most people trapped. So if you want to break out of the cycle, be like Freddie. Ignore the pressure, create that gap. Let your money grow before your lifestyle does. And please, don't buy a frequency blender. If you want me to make other videos explaining these topics, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.